Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Powerhouse Podcast. I am Allie Mancuso, and today we're going to be talking about your power, presence, and warmth triangle and how to show it in your interview. Let's get started. Welcome to the Powerhouse Podcast, hosted by expert coaches Megan Swanson-Rhodes, former Miss Nebraska and Miss Nebraska USA, and Allie Swanson Mancuso, also former Miss Nebraska and Mrs. Nebraska United States. Every Tuesday, we bring you a life-changing, challenging, and activating episode to help high-achieving women win their pageants, massively transform their mindsets, and dominate all aspects of life, both inside and outside of pageantry. Allie and Megan are international coaches of high-achieving women in all 50 states and beyond, and live to see women conquer their dreams. If you are not already a part of our Powerhouse Club, join the fastest growing group of winning pageant queens on the planet, linked in the show notes each week. Now, let's get on to this week's episode. Hi guys, Coach Allie here, and today we're going to talk about interviews, specifically how to show power, presence, and warmth. This is one of my favorite things to talk about because it's really giving you a specific framework on how to crush your interview and also showing you some of your blind spots. So the power, presence, and warmth triangle is something that really is coined by Powerhouse. And those three words are meant to describe your personality and really your presence and how the judges are perceiving you in your pageant interview. And this goes to show that even if you have a 2-minute interview, a 10-minute interview, 12-minute interview, Zoom, in person, whatever, you still need to showcase these three characteristics or attributes. So today I'm going to quantify kind of what those three things are, define them a little bit, and talk about really kind of translating this to the judges and how to see that opposite side. So the baseline of all of this is really understanding who you are, because even if I'm explaining which one of these or what these words mean, right? If you don't know who you are and really how people perceive you and how you come across in a room or in an interview, you're not going to know where to start. So I always say it's really important to understand who you are, know kind of your personality type. So maybe you need to take a personality test. Maybe you need to do some personal development within yourself and really try and get to know yourself past just that level 1 level. Maybe you need to identify some limitations or barriers or fears in your life that are blocking your mindset from what you actually could achieve and could accomplish. And then also, you need to know how to articulate who you are as a person as well. Because if you don't know who you are, when you get asked a question about your uniqueness or your why, you're not going to be able to articulate that in the way that you want. And you might think that you should be able to, but you might be feeling a disconnect as to actually being able to do that in an interview. So I have found that really using this framework of power, presence, and warmth really helps give people verbiage to what they're thinking and feeling and experiencing in their interview. And we've talked about a lot in having successful interviews. You got to be able to let your wall down, not be an emotional mess, know your storylines and all of that. But how do you actually put that into action in knowing the perception of you in interview? And that's kind of what I want to hit on today. So what is power? Power is she is strong, she is bold for good or bad reasons. She could be extremely intelligent. That is somebody who is perceived as being powerful. And I want you to think right now, who is somebody in your life that is powerful? Who is somebody you compete against that's powerful? And this could be for good or bad reasons, right? You could love them because they're so smart, or they are so they're just strong, either physically or they have a strong mindset. It could be for a bad reason that they're strong and they kind of aren't aware of being gentle to other people, and they're kind of bull in a china shop type vibes. And that would be a good example of bad powerful in the good and the bad. So think about somebody in your life that has that characteristic. Second is presence. She has personality, she has liveliness, she has the it factor. She's just overall a captivating person to either look at, to listen to, speak. She has that kind of personality. Okay. Now, I know instantly people are trying to poke holes in this. Like, well, you can kind of train that, or when I'm on stage, I just come alive and that's not my natural personality, whatever. I'm not talking about that. If you have natural presence and you are that kind of a triad, you have this inner confidence that people just look at you. People are aware of your presence when you're in a room. You're comfortable with people setting their eyes on you, and you like being the center of attention. You're captivating. You like commanding a room, commanding an audience. That is presence. Okay. So again, think of somebody in your life who has that. So maybe somebody you competed against, maybe a family member or a friend. Think of that. Okay. Number 3 is warmth. She cares for others. She's humble. She's kind-hearted. She's easygoing, and she's relatable. Okay. Again, think of somebody in your life that has that characteristic. And for one of those 3, you should have selected yourself. So you should fall into one of these categories the most. Now, I'm not saying you can't have the other attributes, because I'll talk about that in a second, about how you really need all 3 to succeed in an interview. You need to be able to showcase all 3 things. But naturally, everybody showcases one of these stronger than the other 2. Okay, you can have 2 out of the 3, but it's important to identify which one is your base so you can know how to practice the other skills in an interview. So somebody who's powerful could be, an attorney or a lawyer who has lots of factual knowledge, or a scientist, okay? And not that your profession makes you this personality type, but just go with me for the sake of this example. Think of a person who doesn't really emote really well in their facials, but they give a lot of facts in their interview. They might steamroll the judges, or they might come in and they're talking very, very loud and very authoritative, and they're unaware that they could potentially make people nervous with how strong their language is, or the tone of their voice, or maybe their physical stature, or something like that. Okay. Now, the positive in this is you're proving to me that you're intelligent, you have a backbone, you're strong-willed, you're driven, right? Those are the positives of this as well. And it's important to know both sides. Somebody with presence, okay, you have that it factor. I want to look at you all day long. I want you on stage. I want you to command a room. Awesome. But does she have depth? That's the other side of this, okay? If somebody only has presence and not anything else, I might perceive them to be a little egotistical or prideful, that they only care about their appearance, that they don't care about others, that they have to be the center of attention, that they're insecure, right? And then warmth, cares for others, humble, kind-hearted, easygoing. These are the people who you want to be best friends with, right? I'm like, wow, you are so kind, and I just want to give you a hug. I want to be your friend. But is she powerful enough to do the actual job, to handle being a title holder? And can she command a room from a speaking perspective? If I put you on stage, are you going to crumble because you're weak? Okay. That can also be a stereotype of warmth, is that you're a pushover and you're not actually strong in your life. So with that type of analysis, giving you some pros and cons of each of these words, I want you to make a little triangle and put each of these words on each of the tips of the triangle in front of you, and place a dot where you think that you are. Not where you want to be, but where you think that you actually are. Circle the word that is your strong suit, and then put a dot within the triangle of where you think you actually are. And the closer the dot is to the outer side or the point, means that the farther away it is from the other points, essentially. Okay. I almost made a math joke or a geometry joke, but nobody wants to hear that from me today. So a perfect interview would be if you put the dot in the middle. You have an equal balance of power, presence, and warmth. And you notice that as you pull that dot one way, so if you have warmth and presence, but you don't have power, that dot is going to go down and away from power if it's at the top, okay? And you have to measure that gap from where the dot is to the middle, and that's a good interview. And that's why I like this visual, because oftentimes if we think, okay, if I'm lacking in power and I have to show power, I jump all the way to pushing the dot into the deep corner, when in reality, you just have to make it into that middle, okay? That's what gives people that well-rounded perspective of a good interview, and what helps people really thrive. And there's really power in that, because not that you have to change your personality by any means, but you do have to showcase the judges that you're intelligent and strong. You can handle a lot. That's power. Presence, you can command a room. People will like you. You're captivating and your brand makes sense. And number 3, you're warm. I can put you in a room of kindergartners to the elderly. You'll relate to them. You're easygoing. You're adaptable. You're humble. Those are characteristics I want in a title holder. And that's what the power, presence, and warmth triangle really displays. And I think that's why this exercise is so powerful. So I hope that was beneficial for you guys. Take that triangle with you as a reminder before you interview. You can keep that mindset, even an onstage question, in how you are framing your answers, and use that as a tool to practice along with your mocks, along with your pageant prep, and see what it does for you, because it really was a game changer for me and for Megan in our own pageant prep. Okay, that's all I have for you guys here today. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Coach Allie. Guess what? You are listening to this podcast on the back half of our winter mastermind. We just had it a couple weeks ago, and if you are like, dang it, I missed it. Well, guess what? We have another opportunity for you for our live upcoming mastermind event. It is May 12th through 14th, that weekend here in Omaha, Nebraska. You might be like, what the heck is in Omaha? Listen, Omaha is a gem of the Midwest. And even if you don't like where it's at, it's an opportunity to meet women all across the country, challenge yourself, grow, and really polish right before your upcoming pageant. Go to mastermind.powerhousepageantry.com for more information. Again, that's mastermind.powerhousepageantry.com. We would love to have you. We have limited spots for this upcoming mastermind, and I think we only have 15 or so left. So be a woman that takes action. Go to mastermind.powerhousepageantry.com. Secure your spot today. Hey guys, it's Coach Allie. Thank you so much for listening to the Powerhouse podcast. Megan and I absolutely love our listener base, and we couldn't do what we do without you guys. If you stayed all the way till this part of the podcast, there's a couple things that I want to make sure that you know. We are constantly updating our resources to be the latest, greatest trainings and stay really up to date with trends. So if you want to figure out how to save $700 overall on pageant coaching, we have a service called the Powerhouse Club, among some other things. And to be honest, it is the best coaching in the world. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased, but we have the best community with amazing women from every single state in the United States in our community, and we just love pouring into you guys. So if you want to figure out how to save $700 overall, like I said, be a part of the best coaching service in the world, click the link below. We would love to assist you. See you next week, guys.